costume jewelry, but I know it's beautiful. I love it.
There's something uniquely charming about vintage costume jewelry. This exquisite jewelry was inherited by the guest from her godmother, a performer in the 1920s to the 1940s. Her godmother, part of a twin act, entertained troops and children, showcasing these pieces. The set, known as parure, includes several matching pieces of jewelry.
When we have 3 or more pieces to a set, it's called a parure. That's a French term.
Though unsigned, the craftsmanship suggests it might be the work of Miriam Haskell, a notable New York City designer. Miriam Haskell. Haskell's designs often featured rose Monty rhinestones and a special gold color known as Russian gold.
And she did not sign every piece he did, but she created pieces like this.
This set's aquamarine and yellow beads and the intricate hand-wired construction are signature Haskell elements. The memory wire bracelet remains flexible, fitting various wrist sizes comfortably. In today's market, if this set is confirmed as a Haskell creation, it could retail up to
Go up to $2,000 for the set. Oh my gosh, for costume jewelry, but I know it's beautiful. I love it.
Very lucky.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my dad is smiling somewhere.
If you have ever listened to classic rock, blues, or even modern pop, chances are you've heard the unmistakable sound of Stratocaster. A guest exhibited a Stratocaster guitar that once belonged to his father.
He grew up in a family that had a lot of music in the home.
This particular guitar was crafted by the Fender Company in 1957. On the back, you can see its distinctive maple neck and a skunk stripe running down the center. The guitar features a striking black to yellow sunburst finish. On the front, there is a maple fingerboard and a non-laminated pickguard, secured with intact screws. Although the tremolo bar is missing, it can be easily replaced. This iconic instrument has been favored by guitar legends for decades and would be valued at
Neighborhood of 15 to 17,000, and it's a nice thing.
Wow, that's a little bit more than we bought it back for.
It's a lot more than what you bought it back for.
This ring, a family heirloom, was sold by the guest during a financial crisis for $75 and later repurchased in 2005 for $400, about 8 years later. It is a platinum and diamond and is in the style of the 20th century, about the 1920s. The ring is from the Edwardian era, moving into Art Deco, and has elements of both eras. It has some open spaces, and the platinum and diamond are the Edwardian style. It's probably made on the East Coast, New York, because many jewelry manufacturers are there. In the middle is an old European cut diamond that weighs just short of half a carat. Also, on the sides, there are 2 rows of single-cut diamonds, possibly half a carat. Hence, in a retail market, this ring would be worth around
$1,800.
Wow, that's a little bit more than we bought it back for.
It's a lot more than what you bought it back for.
This 1903 Steiff Rod Teddy Bear is a rare and historically significant piece. It carries the unique legacy of early Steiff craftsmanship.
Well, it was my grandfather's. He grew up in LA, was born in 1902, and I don't know whether he was the original person that had it or whether it was even his father. I just don't know.
Steiff is renowned for its high-quality teddy bears and was founded in Germany by Margaret Steiff. This particular bear, however, stands out due to its rarity and distinctive features. It is one of the earliest examples of the Rod Bear, introduced in 1903 and premiered at the Leipzig Toy Fair. Unlike later models, this bear features a complex internal structure with metal rods running through its body. The bear's gutta-percha nose, molded to resemble a real bear's nose, is a hallmark of this early model.
What's different about a rod bear is the head is a little bit lower, the ears are lower down, and the way the head sits on the torso is different. It's very distinct. It has the original 5-stitched claws.
It also has typical shoe button eyes, 5-stitched claws, original felt pads, and Excelsior stuffing, which has helped it retain its shape over the decades. The original clothing adds a unique charm and has helped preserve the bear's body in excellent condition.
$8,000 to $10,000.
Before the advent of CGI and digital tools, visual storytellers brought iconic visions to life through their mastery of brush and pencil. One such example is the artwork showcased here, presented by a guest who acquired it at an auction.
I was doing research on a project I was designing, and I looked them up online, and ironically this popped up at auction.
The painting was created in 1949 by Ward Kimball. Kimball was an American animator, known for his work at Walt Disney Animation Studios.
This is symbolic of the evolution from the past into the future. Disney pushed every boundary that he could have, and Ward Kimball was really with him every step of the way.
Outside of his job as an animator, Kimball was also a railroad enthusiast, as well as a talented jazz trombonist. This piece features whimsical figures rendered in vibrant colors, titled The Committee. This particular piece is an oil painting on board, and it remains in pristine condition. At auction, this painting, which epitomizes the early days of visual storytelling, would be valued at
$30,000 as insurance value.
We have before us a strong safe box with elaborate ironwork, evoking a sense of beauty and security. The guest inherited this Armada chest from his mother as an heirloom. This Armada chest, also known as a Nuremberg chest, was made in Germany in the 17th century.
Look at the quality, built in Germany.
The name Armada comes from the Spaniards, who used these chests during voyages to keep valuable goods safe. The chest has very strong locks to keep its contents secure. What sets this Armada chest apart are the old patina floral motifs around it.
Things you see are painted grotesques, that sort of thing.
Our gaze is shifted to the interior of the box, where we can see designs and more riveted locks. Despite its age, this item is in excellent condition. So, at auction, this Armada chest, which showcases the skills of blacksmiths and artisans of the time, would accrue.
It's another £3,000 to £4,000. So you're looking at a £3,500 to £4,500 very nice piece.
This Civil War Union Naval Surgeon's uniform is a cherished family heirloom belonging to the owner's great-great-grandfather. As a surgeon's coat from the United Navy, it stands out for its uniqueness and exceptional preservation. Crafted in Cincinnati, Ohio, by T.W. Sprague, this uniform is made from a fine broadcloth and features a green silk lining. It showcases the distinctive medical captain's shoulder straps and a padded chest, reflecting the status and role of its original owner. Despite a few minor moth nips, the uniform is in remarkable condition, with its silk-corded keyhole buttonholes still intact. Although Civil War uniforms have seen fluctuations in market value, this piece still commands significant interest. The uniform's enduring quality and the story of its original owner make it a remarkable artifact from the Civil War era. In today's market, this uniform, due to its historical significance, would sell for
an estimate of $10,000 on it as a replacement cost. Wow.
These early 20th century oil paintings by Cullen Yates and Charles Courtney Curran hold a special place in the owner's family history, having been passed down through generations.
We're from my aunt's home in Toledo, Ohio. They had been handed down from her husband's uncle, who was also from Toledo. He was a physician who traveled the world.
Both artists originally hailed from Ohio, adding a unique connection to their provenance. September Sea by Cullen Yates depicts the picturesque Perkins Cove in Ogunquit, Maine. This vibrant scene, rich in brushwork and palette knife technique, captures the lively essence of the coastal landscape. Remarkably large for Yates, this painting stands out not only for its size, but also its detailed correspondence. Given its size, beauty, and documented history, this particular painting would auction for
Made around $20,000 to $30,000.
Oh my goodness, no!
The other piece, Wild Morning Glories by Charles Courtney Curran, epitomizes his renowned style, which features an attractive young woman bathed in sunlight amidst a lush garden. Curran, a contemporary of Yates, was known for his depictions of women in serene sunlit settings. However, due to its market desirability and stunning portrayal, this painting would sell for
Estimate of $40,000 to $60,000, and it might even do above that.
Oh my.
That is wonderful. Well, I love this bracelet.
It's remarkable how artisans employ traditional techniques to craft these stunning bracelets. The bracelets were inherited by this guest from her great-grandmother. These two tribes resided in the United States in an area called Four Corners region. One bracelet was made by the Navajo tribe and the other by the Zuni tribe. One of the bracelets is adorned with green turquoise stones, each of which was intricately set by hand. As a significant part of Navajo culture, this bracelet holds a value of
probably $250 to $300.
The second bracelet showcases a large green turquoise stone at its center. As a testament to the Zuni tribe's craftsmanship, this piece is estimated to be worth
$800 to $1,200.
Oh, that is wonderful. Well, I love this bracelet.
What we have here is an unusual piece in the form of a bottle with colored sand. Andrew Clemens, a young man from McGregor, Iowa, became renowned in the late 1800s for his intricate sand art. This bottle, a Civil War era gift to the guest's great-grandfather, featured intricate designs, including an eagle with a 36-star flag, a mortar and pestle, and the script of his great-grandfather's name. Clemens, who was deaf, attended the Deaf Mute School in Iowa and began collecting and working with local sand during his summers.
By the time he was about 17, he was really into it, and from 17 on until he died, he was basically working with this colored sand that he was collecting locally.
He used a fishhook and a popsicle stick to create his detailed scenes inside the bottles.
The Iowa State Museum has Clemens's masterpiece bottle, which he made for his mother, that has George Washington on horseback.
Clemens' bottles, once modestly priced, have seen their market value soar. His work remains a testament to his unique talent, and this piece is worth
Between $4,000 and $6,000 is what we'd estimate. It might bring more than that in the right auction. Great piece.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? My word.
This piece of metal shown here is a masterpiece of history because of its background. It is an elevator grill from the Chicago Stock Exchange. This highly durable elevator grill was created by the father of skyscrapers, Louis Sullivan. Louis Sullivan was considered by many to be a great modern architect, and this grill confirms that.
Sullivan was one of America's greatest architects. His big claim to fame was that he was the teacher of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yes.
But in his own right, he was the sort of the father of modern architecture in America.
The elevator grill represents one of the earliest styles of modern architecture. These grills are quite rare because of their maker and the materials they were made from. The elevator grill was created in 1894 from finely made stainless steel. If this highly durable grill was to sell at an auction in today's market, it would fetch nothing less than
In the $20,000 to $30,000 range.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? My word.
These two figures would be a dream come true for any antique collector. A close look reveals that the figures are made from gold, which is a rare and valuable element. It can also be seen that the figures are made through expert craftsmanship. These figures are known as Pre-Columbian gold figures.
Is we have some Pre-Columbian gold from the Veraguas area in Panama.
As real as they look, it is likely that one of them is a reproduction. Further testing reveals that, contrary to what many might believe, the little animal is the reproduction.
We tested this one, it's actually gold plate. So when we tested it, the outside, the plate was 14, we flipped it over, it's a plated piece.
Thus, it can be said that the oddly looking figure is the real Pre-Columbian gold item. At an auction, the authentic Pre-Columbian gold figure would surely fetch a price of
Is $3,000 to $5,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
Tucked away for over 5 decades in the guest's family basement, this remarkable oil painting by Sanford Robinson Gifford has a story as captivating as the artwork itself. Painted in 1858, this piece is a stunning example of Gifford's mastery of art. He was a Hudson River school artist and a leading figure in the Luminist movement.
Gifford was born in 1823 and he died in 1880. In the mid-1850s, he went to Europe, and this is a view of Italy.
As seen, this painting expresses the sublime beauty of nature through light. Though the canvas is obscured by years of dirt, the brilliance of the Italian landscape it depicts shines through. The scene, complete with shepherds and ancient ruins, confirms its European origins. This hidden gem bears the artist's signature, faintly visible in the lower left corner, affirming its authenticity and historical importance. Given that it is a cherished piece of art for any collector or art enthusiast, it is valued at
$300,000. That's amazing.
This comic strip is one for the ages because it represents one of the oldest comics ever. The comic, called Dick Tracy, tells the story of a police detective. This particular strip was created in 1932 as a parting gift to one of the artist's employees. Dick Tracy is one of the most famous strips in American history and was created by Chester Gould. For an item created in 1932, the condition of the strip is excellent.
Said, what am I going to do with all of this? I don't want it. You take it. And then we thought, well, what are we going to do with all this stuff?
The strip is also signed by Chester, which automatically increases its value. What's special about this particular strip is that it's likely one of the only 1932 dailies in existence. This strip is quite rare, and at a suitable auction, it would fetch nothing less than.
You have $1,600 just to scrap gold.
A different looking type of lawn furniture in itself entirely. This rocking chair was meticulously handcrafted in the 1920s by the guest's grandfather, George C. Hyde, who was known affectionately as Ted. George C. Hyde. Ted Hyde, born in 1899, was a master craftsman whose ambidextrous skills enabled him to produce an extraordinary volume of work.
And then ends down here in the curves. He was born in 1899, left-handed, and when he went to school, they wouldn't let him be left-handed. They made him learn to write right-handed.
Transitioning from wrought iron to aluminium post-war, Ted created two of these chairs, one for himself and one for his wife. This chair, made in the late 1920s, showcases a continuous hoop of aluminium that epitomizes the essence of modernism. Though aluminium was newly adopted in America in 1924, Ted was ahead of his time, integrating brass seats and achieving a patina that speaks of its outdoor use. The chair's design, with its rolling capability for ease of movement, reflects a brilliant fusion of form and function. This piece is a testament to Ted Hyde's ingenuity and craftsmanship, and at auction would be valued at
$3,000 to $5,000.
Wow.
A further insurance value can be placed on it in the region of
$7,500. $7,500.
Wow.
Originally thought of to be purely jade artifacts by this guest, these items were procured at a Housing Works thrift shop some years back. Housing Works thrift shop. One of the items, a belt, appears to be made of a softer material than jade, possibly serpentine or soapstone. The belt is also adorned with stylized Quinlong dragons, typical of a Ming-era design, thought of to be a compact by the guest. This other item is a fine example of white jade, intricately carved with auspicious Chinese symbols.
Now the carving is quite interesting. This is a fu bat. This is a lovely beaded scrollwork edge. These are shoe medallions. So shoe and fu bats.
The item isn't a compact, but actually a belt fitting from the Quinlong period, repurposed with a mirror.
The mirror was never intended for the object.
Really?
The object is a hinged white jade belt fitting.
This jade fitting, dating back to 1760 to 1780, represents the fascinating history of repurposing art in the early 20th century. Despite modifications, these items still retain a high value, and at auction would conservatively fetch
$4,000 to $6,000.
Wow. Wow. I'm impressed.
This charming painting graced the walls of a grandmother's house for many years. After the grandmother's passing, the painting found a new home with her niece in New York. The guest loved the painting and eventually inherited it, making it a 3-generation family treasure.
Watches the sun come up on it every morning. He says the light on it is so beautiful. We both enjoy it.
The painting is dated back to 1920. Combining the label and signature, though difficult to read, the appraiser identified the art as Frank H. Desch. Desch was an Impressionist painter influenced by art giants, Hawthorne and Chase. His style resembles other artists of the period, particularly Charles Courtney Curran, This painting, Oil on Canvas, is unique in Desch's work as it features children on a hillside. The original frame is in great condition, with just minor wear. While the value is unknown, it could fetch
$25,000 to $40,000.
Wow.
On a field trip, we skipped and slipped, exploring nature's grip. Locals and tourists visit Boston's Public Garden, the first public botanical garden in America. They come to walk across the bridge and ride the swan boats.
Make way for ducklings. The story is about a family of ducks and their adventure from the banks of the Charles River to a spot on the lagoon here in the public garden.
Visitors also enjoy the popular duck statues. These bronze statues were created by Nancy Schon. They're from Robert McCloskey's Make Way for Ducklings, published in 1941. It follows ducks to Boston's Public Garden. It became the official children's book of Massachusetts in 2003. Rare sketches by McCloskey for the book can be found in the Boston Public Library. In December 1960, McCloskey gave the library's children's department 4 sketchbooks. One sketch shows Louisburg Square, resembling the book's final drawing.
Very similar to the finished drawing that's in the book.
McCloskey studied Boston's buildings and streets closely, added the ducklings, and then wrote the story. Another sketch shows the corner of Charles Street and Beacon Street, where the duck family enters the public garden near Schon's bronze ducklings, linking the story to the real place. McCloskey studied live ducklings in his bathtub and studio, capturing their every move to show the true essence of ducklingness. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
Book can sell between $20,000 and $30,000 retail. The sketchbooks are interesting because there's an academic quality to them. I would think a value of maybe between $10,000 and $15,000.
We are presented with a set of furniture inherited by the guest from her father.
My father had a lot of patients who needed medical services and he needed furniture, and barter was the way back in those days.
Judging by their appearance, this furniture was crafted in a Western style. Included in the collection is a table featuring distinctive grain patterns on its surface and medullary rings, which are characteristic of Western craftsmanship. The table is accompanied by 2 benches positioned on either side. Another showcased item is a cupboard adorned with interesting motifs, such as a cactus and a bullfight scene on its lower drawers. Lastly, there is a chair with 4 legs and a cowboy motif on the back. This set of furniture was created with meticulous attention to detail and is estimated to be worth
$10,000 and $15,000.
Yeah, and that's great.
As technology advances, some inventions from the past remain as enigmatic as ever. One such enigma is a mystery clock purchased by a guest at a garage sale. This clock was retailed by the Gobelin Lucerne Company around the early 1900s. It is designed to run for days on a single wind. The case is made of marble and is fitted with brass appointments that hold it together. Interestingly, the dial is a solid silver dish with a gilt wash. There is also a marble frog within the dial, which acts as the clock's hand.
Originally, the time would have been indicated by a tortoise, and the tortoise would have to be made of cork so it could float on top of the water.
This clock, which seemingly defies the laws of physics, would command a value of
Somewhere in the $5,500 price range to about $6,000.
Wow, that's great. Whoa.
This is an exhilaratingly beautiful portrait of a woman drawn in the 1950s by the Indian artist Christensen Khanna. Christensen is quite a popular artist in India thanks to his unique style of painting.
Well, the artist gives up banking in 1960 and he becomes a professional painter. You know, he takes the leap. Although he had very little money, he took that big step to become a professional artist.
This portrait is special because it was done in the 50s and is quite rare to see the works of Christensen. The portrait represents one of the modern styles of painting that we now see often. It's a thick painting with a particularly luminous effect. The painting is also quite valuable because of its modernism and due to the credibility of Christensen among the Indian people. At a suitable auction, this beautiful luminous painting would retail at the price of
£30,000 to £50,000 today.
A presentation pipe, both peace and might, a symbol of honor in day and night. A special find from a closet reveals a historic tomahawk. It was given to Samuel Kirkwood, a past Iowa governor. This tomahawk is both a tool and a symbol. It is crafted with a sturdy hickory handle and a brass head adorned with decorative tacks. The tomahawk is made of hardwood, probably ash or hickory for the handle, and brass for the head. This suggests it wasn't used in fights, but made traditionally. The handle has patterns made by filing. The brass tacks come from trade with non-native people, and a blacksmith made the head. It had a leather piece to keep it secure. A hot wire was used to make the hole through the handle, burning out the wood inside it. It shows signs of careful making, with patterns on the wood, and a leather piece to keep it secure. Likely made around the 1870s or 1880s, it has aged well, showing its long history. It's linked to big names like President Garfield and Sitting Bull, adding to its story. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
$12,500.
Wow, okay.
At first glance at the item, we see a piece of sports history. It's part of the goalpost from the Ice Bowl game in 1967. This game was between the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys. It was played in very cold weather. The game is remembered as one of football's most exciting games. It ended with the Packers winning in the final seconds. The guest told how fans, including their dad, ran onto the field after the game to celebrate. Some fans even took down the goalposts. Their dad used tools to carefully take the section they now own. The artifact, signed by Packers star Jerry Kramer and defensive back Doug Hart, later on was said to be a valuable piece from the stadium. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
$3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, wow.
It's not every day that we come across a rare book of this quality. In 1969, during a bookstore moving sale, the guest acquired this book titled The Complete Angler by Isaac Walton. The Complete Angler book is a practical guide to the art of angling or fishing.
The Complete Angler by Isaac Walton. It's really one of the most sought after fishing books and most famous fishing books known.
This edition, illustrated by Arthur Rackham, came in this pristine box. Rackham, renowned for his work in gift books, made this 1931 edition highly collectible. Arthur Rackham. The book's beautiful green Morocco leather binding is in deluxe condition. An original drawing by Rackham, signed and dated in 1931, adds significant value. An insurance value for this book, which portrays rural England and extols the pleasures of country life, would be set at
$8,000 or $9,000 on it, so you've done very well with it.
We have a beautiful collection, inherited by the guest from her father.
To my grandfather, James McGregor, who at the time was an Indian superintendent at the Pine Ridge Reservation. And so it was handed down to me.
The guest's father was a correspondent of the great American sculptor, Gutzon Borglum. Borglum is best known for his work on Mount Rushmore. He also created many other public works across the United States. This collection includes a signed photograph of Mount Rushmore. It also features a correspondence letter between the sculptor and the guest's grandfather. Additionally, there is a book written by the guest's grandfather about first-hand experiences from survivors of the Wounded Knee Massacre.
Certainly was one of the first and original books published on a first-person account of survivors of that very notorious massacre.
The great significance of this collection is only complemented by the provenance behind it, giving it an estimated value of
$1,000 to $1,200.
Cool. Very cool.
Imagine the euphoria of owning a Windsor high-back rocking chair. Well, that's just exactly what this guest feels. Having purchased the chair around 35 years ago, it has since become a highly cherished piece. Unlike most Windsor chairs converted into rockers, this chair was originally made as a rocking chair. The paint, likely from around 1830, suggests it might be the original brown. The chair's historical authenticity enhances its value, and at retail, it would sell for.
Put $3,500 on it. That's amazing.
We have here an Irish silver bowl of astounding elegance. Next to it lies neatly placed coins in a case. Our guests are a couple. The wife, related to the maker, inherited this silver bowl and coins as an heirloom.
My mother was Barry's daughter, second daughter.
Looking at the bottom of the silver bowl, we see engravings such as W.E., This confirms it was made by William Egan, a famous Irish silversmith who influenced the Irish Republic movements for independence in the 20th century.
Egans, of course, the firm of Egans, go back to the 1820s and made great silver throughout the 90s.
The silver bowl has intricate floral designs, showcasing William's attention to detail. Now, let's look at the coins. William made them at the start of the Irish Republic as a means of exchange.
The Irish Republican Parliament, and he was on a committee to choose the designs for the first Republican coinage.
At auction, the less sought-after symbolic Irish coin might sell for. Given its rarity and significant role in the Irish War for Independence, it could fetch
Probably £15,000.
Lord. Because it was valued at about
700.
This is such a unique and rare piece of furniture. It was crafted by the guest's grandfather during the Great Depression. This folk art card, or console table, bears marquetry and parquetry inlay design. At the exterior of the circle is an abstract freeform design, showcasing the brilliance of the craftsman. The table is made from many different kinds of wood, chiseled into a beautiful design. We have maple and cherry, oak, chestnut, walnut, and the centerpiece, which is ebony. The cohesion in the design adds to its artistic allure, along with the tapering work underneath the table. A great decorator's piece, displaying top-notch craftsmanship and artwork. This piece is worth
be around $3,500.
This collection was inherited from the guest's father-in-law. We have a German gilt table clock made by the German clockmaker Wilhelm Kobel, a late 17th century piece. This style of clock was made in Germany during the Renaissance. The clock features beautiful engravings on the outside, as well as the inside of the dial. Upon opening the clock, the intricately crafted and engraved interior is revealed.
Each piece is just beautifully finished and beautifully engraved, and they are little works of art. It's so wonderfully preserved. It's a clock that a collector has taken care of.
The other item in the collection is a book published around the same time the clock was made. This 4th edition of an extremely rare book explains the changes in clockmaking over the years. Preserved and presented in exceptional condition, this 17th century collection is valued at
$8,000 to $10,000.
These exquisite pieces have been cherished family heirlooms for generations, lovingly passed down to the guest from her grandmother. They are pictorial panels, crafted using the intricate intarsia technique, a venerable European method dating back to the 1880s. This pair is an original set, which significantly enhances their collective value. The panels beautifully depict scenes of provincial life in Europe, with the intarsia technique bringing out exquisite details that are truly captivating. Such a rare and remarkable pair of old European intarsia work is highly sought after, making their estimated collective value
$3,000.
Okay.
And the high estimate, perhaps $5,000.
Okay.
This family heirloom was purchased during the guest's great-grandparents' honeymoon. It is a necklace from the late 19th century by the renowned American luxury jewelry specialist Tiffany and Company, founded in 1837 by jeweler Charles Louis Tiffany. This exquisite necklace features beautiful graduated panels with intricate wirework designs. The decorative motifs on the panel are influenced by Japanese aesthetics, adding a touch of elegance and cultural fusion. On the back of the piece is a hook, which would have originally held up a locket. Upon close inspection, the Tiffany signature can be found, confirming its authenticity. Made of 18-karat gold, this necklace was previously appraised at $10,000. Given its historical significance and exquisite craftsmanship, this beautiful piece of jewelry is now worth
$40,000 to $50,000 range in today's market.
I don't think I'll be wearing it to any PTA meetings. Thank you.
We are presented with a fantastic piece, an early model of the dolls created by Karth Kruse. Karth Kruse was a notable pioneer of German doll making, and this model presented is known as Doll 1. This designation is indicated by the wider hips of the doll compared to the later versions.
When you lift this up, it's got the wide hips. Doll 2 had much narrower hips.
Bearing the hallmark of the artist right under its foot, This doll is an authentic creation from the early 20th century. Although the doll is missing some parts, such as the underclothes, it is still worth as much as
$3,000 and $3,500 doll. Oh my goodness.
$3,500.
The work of Frances Hodgson Burnett, a famous 19th century author who wrote Little Lord Fauntleroy, Secret Garden, and Little Princess, are brought in for appraisal by her great-granddaughter. The first piece is the first handwritten chapter of Lord Fauntleroy in 1886, accompanied with the copy of the first edition with her signature in it. The most important kind of manuscript is the first draft of an author's first book, and there is the chapter of the very first book that she published. Little Fauntleroy was one of the most important works of 19th century literature and sold over 500,000 copies. Frances Burnett was responsible for copyright laws in England in an era where authors didn't have a way of protecting their works. She sued an author in London for copyright issues, which gave precedent where authors were able to receive royalties for other kinds of works. Hence, there is a commemorative piece from all the authors, including a bracelet and a ring inscribed by the authors in England. In addition to this collection is the guest book for the Walk Through the Secret Garden, which is a real place, still in existence. An interesting bit about this book is that when the pages are flipped, there are lots of signatures from famous authors such as Henry James, Richard Le Gallienne, Scribner, and Heinemann. As for value, these pieces are not worth much individually. For example, at an auction, the book would sell for about $1,000 each, while the jewelry may bring $3,000 to $5,000 on its own, but the whole collection together at an auction would be worth
Of $75,000. So congratulations to you.
The guest brought in an antique guitar that he kept stored away for about 8 years for appraisal. It is from late 1962, and it is a Stratocaster with the decal on the headstock. An unusual bit about this piece is the custom color, which is Sonic Blue, one of the rare Fender custom colors. Although the more popular colors were Olympic White, Candy Apple Red, and Lake Placid Blue, Sonic Blue was first used on 1955 Cadillacs. What made this color viral is that John Lennon and George Harrison had a pair of Sonic Blue Stratocasters, which they used on Nowhere Man. The guest bought this piece from a pawn shop in 1965 for $100 to $135. An offer of $35,000 and $40,000 had been placed at different times, but the guest refused them. However, in a specialty vintage guitar store, this guitar would be estimated at
$45,000 and maybe even higher.
That's good. This guest brought in a bat buckle she purchased in Pennsylvania for appraisal. The stones are considered as paste, and it is a belt and sash buckle. It was made between 1900 to 1915 in the Germany-Austrian style known as Jugendstil, meaning youth style. Furthermore, it is made of German metal, which is a mixture of nickel, zinc, and copper. Also, the stones are early rhinestones. This old piece, bought at $20 by the guest, would at an auction be estimated at
$400 to $500. Wow.
A beautiful mesh purse, a treasured heirloom inherited from their grandmother who lived in New York City, was brought in by the guest. The guest's mother used to call it a mad money purse, likely a place to stash some secret spending money. The purse is a 14-karat yellow gold change purse from the late 1890s, likely part of the Gilded Age or late Victorian era. These purses were popular at the time, but this particular example was in excellent condition, with the intricate mesh intact and the clasp mechanism functional, uncommon for such vintage purses. The most striking feature was a large 10-karat amethyst stone adorning the top. The amethyst, a beautiful violet gemstone, added a touch of luxury to the purse. The purse also had a hallmark identifying the maker as Carter Go Company, a renowned jeweler from Newark, New Jersey. Carter Go Company was a well-respected firm that produced high-quality jewelry during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Having a hallmark from this prestigious maker added significantly to the purse's value. Considering the gold content, excellent condition, and prestigious maker, the estimated retail value of the purse is
$5,000 and $7,000.
Wow. Hoo-ha.
A guest shared a fascinating family heirloom known as the Tiffany pitcher. dating back to the 1850s. This exquisite piece was presented to his great-great-grandfather, who was a mate on the riverboat Nominee. When a child fell overboard on a charter boat, the guest's great-great-grandfather heroically saved him, and as a reward, the passengers collected money and commissioned Tiffany and Company as a token of their gratitude. The appraiser praised the documentation of the piece's history, noting it as one of the most interesting examples of presentation silver. Typically, such items are awarded for sports events, retirements, or marriages, but a life-saving act makes this picture a unique trophy. The intricate repose chased scene depicted the dramatic rescue, complete with a depiction of the steamboat Nominee and its name engraved on the wheel, adding to its romantic and historical allure. The front of the picture features an inscription with the date and the name of the boy who was saved, enhancing its provenance. This piece held significant interest for collectors of rare American silver, particularly those with a focus on Tiffany silver and early American craftsmanship. Despite some damage, including a bent foot and lead obscuring the maker's mark, the appraiser confirmed its authenticity due to the well-documented history and photographs in a family book. Initially estimated at $4,000 to $5,000, the appraiser suggested that with professional restoration and careful polishing, the value could increase to
$5,000 to $7,000, perhaps even as much as $8,000.
Wonderful.
The guest brought in a mysterious box bearing a plaster head with human eyelashes and a strange-looking human hand. Willie Sutton was a famous bank-armed robber always in and out of prison, and these were what he used in an attempted breakout. History had it that he robbed over 100 banks and escaped from prison 3 times, and he used this dummy head and hand. The prison was run by the guest's grandfather, who kept the box in Camp Hill Prison until he retired after Sutton was released. Sutton made the dummy with human hair from a barber shop, and the same with the eyelashes, even though how he got the pigment is not known. In August of 1941, the escape attempt happened, but he later escaped and became the 11th person to be added to the FBI's most wanted list in 1950. Most of the escape tools used by prisoners are usually owned by the prison or prison museums, hence do not come up on auction tables. However, without the box and the provenance of the label on the box, it is just a head. So a conservative estimate at auction would be
$2,500 to $3,500. Wow, that's nice.
The guest's father was the last original Cleveland Brown to retire after a long career from 1946 to 1968. He was known as Lou Gauza and was a great football kicker named in the Hall of Fame. The NCAA has an award named after him as the top kicker of the year. Before his death at the age of 76, he had an insurance company which he managed alongside his football career. The guest brought one of his football jerseys, one of his sideline jackets, and the first championship ring Lou received in the 19th century. Also, he brought a picture showing the ring on his father's finger while holding him up. Lou Gauza was part of the A-Champions team because his team, the Browns, won 4 championships in a row and competed in the NFL as a member club of the American Football Conference, AFC. All these items are to be insured. The sideline jacket should be insured for $5,000 and the jersey for $10,000. However, the ring, which is a masterpiece, should be insured for $45,000, bringing it to a total value of
around $60,000.
Okay. Wonderful.
A beautiful silver bowl, a collaborative design rich in both sentimental and artistic value, was brought in by the guest. It commemorated the guest's service at the Rochester Institute of Technology and served as a unique reminder of their collaboration with Hans Christensen, a renowned silversmith. It is the work of Hans Christensen, a respected artist who had apprenticed under the legendary Georgian. Christensen's background lent the bowl immediate prestige, but its true beauty lay in its design. The piece perfectly captured the essence of the 1970s aesthetic, a style that was experiencing a significant revival among collectors, especially those with fond memories of the era. Beyond its visual appeal, the bowl showcased exceptional craftsmanship. The hand-hammered texture and the organic uneven rim distinguished it as a one-of-a-kind piece, a stark contrast of mass-produced items. This emphasis on handcrafted artistry resonated with modern collectors who increasingly sought out pieces that told a story and highlighted the skills of the maker. Considering the confluence of factors, Hans Christensen's artistry, the resurgent popularity of 1970s designs, and the bowl's handcrafted quality, the estimated auction value is
$2,000 to $4,000 and could perhaps exceed that.
Yeah, that's great.
What we have here is an extraordinary piece from the late 19th century in the form of a convertible bathtub encased in an East Lake-style chestnut cabinet. This piece is complete with incised flower heads and reeded pilasters. This intriguing piece is not just a relic of Victorian ingenuity, but a rare find that even seasoned appraisers have rarely encountered.
Where did you find this bathtub?
I bought this in Valley City, North Dakota, about 2 years ago.
The bathtub itself is a testament to the inventive spirit of the era, akin to the space-saving Murphy beds of the same period. Ingeniously designed to fold away into a stylish cabinet, it features an improved bath heater system.
I mean, you can have thousands of people in one town and there'd be one bathtub. So this is pretty amazing that this one survived. It would have been made for probably a wealthy family.
Given that this convertible bathtub showcases the evolving history of hygiene, it will auction for
$3,500. And what'd you pay for it?
$2,500.
$2,500? Good for you. Good job.
A lucky find from a local thrift store for a mere $15. Tucked with the doll was a charming note, a handwritten story attributing the doll to a Native American chief's wife who crafted it in 1885 for a doctor's wife. While the note is intriguing, some details were likely embellished. However, the note did hold significance and offered clues to the doll's origin. Upon closer inspection, the doll is identified as a representation of the Brule Sioux woman, a tribe from the Dakotas. The doll's exquisite craftsmanship made this pretty obvious. The intricate beadwork, the details on the moccasins, and the traditional clothing all pointed towards a depiction of a high-status woman within the Brule Sioux community. But the most surprising aspect of the doll was its condition. It appeared almost untouched by time, with clean materials and vibrant colors. This is attributed to careful storage over the years, suggesting the doll had been treasured by its previous owners. Dating the doll to the early 1880s, the piece holds historical significance, particularly when considering the note's context. The combination of the doll's quality, age, and potential connection to a bygone era within the Brule Sioux tribe made it a highly valuable collector's item. Taking all these factors into account, the estimated worth of the doll at auction is
I think you're talking $3,500 to $4,500 if the doll came up at auction.
Really?
It's a great thing.
This guest is on the show with a beautiful necklace for appraisal. The piece was made by Trevor Arthur and Mobsons and was later acquired by a French company. They designed much jewelry, especially for movie stars, and called them reflections. But the necklace had diminished in value because it's been repolished and would only be worth around $1,000 to $1,500. The other piece is a beautiful ballerina brooch by Van Cleef & Arpels in New York. It features a rose-cut diamond head, and its body is made of diamond and sapphire, purely glazed. At the back is a signature, so at an auction, this piece would fetch
How's $8,000 to $10,000? Sounds pretty good.
The guest brought in a fantastic-looking clothes dresser from about 30 years ago. With beautiful woodwork designs on the door, this old clothes dresser was used for keeping linens, blouses, and trousers in the 17th century. Since more value is placed on such items if they are American instead of British, it's important to find out if this clothes dresser is American. Firstly, the side wood fringe along the top is hardly seen in American pieces. Secondly, looking inside the cross-border drawers, the size is thin and made of English oak from the Georgian period. Also, there are screws at the edges, and the door, when opened, reveals shelves that can be pulled out easily. At the back, braces and light holes show classic British furniture. Though the design is wonderful with a great patina and wood finish, because it is not American, the value at auction would probably be around
$12,000 to $18,000. Wow. That's a good increase.
Great investment.
The guest brought in a blanket chest that her grandparents used for keeping rugs for appraisal. The design showcases Spanish colonial influence from the southwestern American parts. Cabinet makers in this area used local wood, Panda rose pine, to make furniture because hardwood didn't grow there. This piece is decorated with iconography, perhaps with some local characteristics like clouds or fishes. Hence, the starfish carving designs on the body of this furniture. It was made in the 19th century when iron was very expensive in the region, so they did not use nails, but instead put the chest together with modern synthetic construction. With pegs or pins, they held the joints together, but pieces of iron were used for the clasps and hinges, which a blacksmith would have had to make. This kind of furniture is rare in the market and has a conservative estimate of
$3,000 to $5,000.
That's nice.
That would surprise me. I wouldn't have thought anything like that.
You might be wondering what's special about this so-called piece of paper. Well, in fact, it's not just a random piece of paper, but an award certificate. This certificate, originally belonging to the guest's grandfather, was issued to an elder called Jacob Gates by his church.
It appears to be almost a thank you certificate or an award from his church members in England.
Upon closer inspection of the certificate, it is ascertained that several groups appreciated Elder Gates for his good works. Also documented on the certificate is the fact that Elder Gates baptized over 400 souls. Done via hand calligraphy on parchment, this certificate is graphically very intriguing. A fair market value for this piece, due to the fact that they don't appear on the market very often, would be
$10,000 to $15,000.
That would surprise me. I wouldn't have thought.
This guest brought a painting that used to be in his grandmother's house. It is from the 40s and the artist's name is J. Clinton Shepard. Shepard was an illustrator and this was one of his best paintings. The painting looks scary as it features a hunter with his gun, sturdy boots, and headlights. At an auction, a reasonable estimate for this painting would be
Between $5,000 and $7,000.
The guest bought this print at an auction for $15 and has kept it rolled up in his house. There is a noticeable flaking at the edges of the print, which is why it has been rolled up for a long time. Made from different sheets and printed on different sheets of paper, the print is then mounted on linen and hung on a stand. It was done by William Strang in 1899 and was commissioned from Strang by the Artful School Association. The school produced prints that were sold to raise money for the school. It is done as an art and crafts style, but the condition issues would be expensive to fix. Once fixed, a retail value would be around
For about $1,500.
This unique heirloom, a book form watch, has been in the family for 5 or 6 generations, dating back to their great-great-great-grandmother, who was from France. The watch is a type from around 1860, featuring a compartment that could hold not just one photograph, but a small family portrait with spaces for 3 pictures. This personalization added sentimental value to the watch beyond its mechanical function of keeping time. Based on the watch's condition, in its current state, it's estimated to be worth
$4,000 to $6,000 at a show.
Interestingly, if restored professionally, it could be worth as much as
$6,000 to $8,000.
The guest brought in 2 fine pieces of art, a picture and a plate, for appraisal. These are Picasso ceramics made in 1946 when Picasso was in residence in the south of France. He made thousands of pieces within 24 years using motifs in ceramic. However, out of the over 3,500 pieces he made, 600 were picked and additions were made, from which these picture and plate came. The picture and plate were made in 1954 and 1955 respectively. Furthermore, the picture has a beautifully designed body, and at the bottom is a mark and signature. But there are noticeable chips at the edges of the picture. Therefore, it would sell at $5,000 to $7,000 at an auction. However, the plate is in good condition and has the same mark and signature as the picture, and at an auction would be worth
$12,000 and $15,000.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought the picture would have brought more.
This bronze statue of Osiris, the Egyptian god of the underworld, was purchased by the guest's mother at an auction in England. It also came with a certificate linking it to the famed Karnak temple. The statue is a depiction of Osiris, complete with his characteristic symbols, the flail and the crook, and the white crown. Its age is around 300 BC, placing it in the late period of ancient Egypt. The statue was likely placed in a tomb to assist the deceased in the afterlife. While the statue held historical significance, it had some condition issues. The most concerning was bronze disease, a green and white corrosion that could damage the statue. While the guest has grown fond of the patina, there is need for professional restoration to prevent further deterioration. If the statue were in perfect condition, it would be worth $3,000 to $4,000, but in its current condition, it is worth
$2,000. Thank you.
Take a look at this delightful Tiffany Studios table that was passed down to this guest by her great-grandfather. Accompanying this lamp is a photograph showing the lamp in the interior of the house. This lamp features a Moorish pattern characterized by intricate geometric designs, which usually showcase complex patterns carved or etched into materials, like brass, creating a stunning visual effect. What is unique about this lamp is that it has all its parts intact, which is quite unusual. The prism is reinforced in such a way that it doesn't fall off, which makes it more valuable.
Whereas the other prisms I've seen are usually hooked on very flimsily on a little S hook, and that it explains why they're all gone.
Well preserved and in pristine condition, this Tiffany Studios table lamp will fetch
$25,000 to $35,000. Great.
A bronze statue received as a gift from a dear friend who had recently passed away was brought in by the guest. Though this friend had acquired the piece in China, it is revealed that it was actually a Japanese masterpiece from the Meiji period, a golden age for bronze production in Japan. Unlike typical Chinese bronzes featuring gods and warriors, this statue depicted a serene Japanese fisherman with a fish triumphantly dangling from his line, reflecting the Japanese aesthetic preference for everyday subjects. The exquisite detail extended to the 24-karat gold trim, making it a highly valuable parcel-gilt bronze. An inscription hidden on the statue's base provided the key to its origin: the Miao family, a renowned bronze maker dynasty in Japan. This prestigious maker's mark, along with the statue's condition, significantly boosted its value. The statue wasn't just a decorative piece, it was a testament to the artistry of the Meiji period and a valuable heirloom for the guest. Despite a slight dip in the market, the estimated value of the statue is
$3,000 to $5,000 estimate for its sale.
Wonderful.
We have here a beautiful Rookwood pottery piece inherited from the guest's father-in-law. She had always admired it, but knew little about its history or value. It is a rare and valuable piece, a Rookwood pottery jug with a silver overlay by Gorham Manufacturing. The Rookwood pottery itself was decorated with a hand-painted picture, likely by artist Harriet Wilcox, who was known for her whimsical designs. Uniquely, the silver overlay actually complemented and framed the artwork, showcasing a respectful collaboration between the pottery artist and the silversmith. Several factors contributed to the piece's value. The use of a renowned pottery artist like Wilcox and a prestigious silversmith like Gorham was significant. The early period of the Gorham overlay added value as well. The excellent condition of the pottery, free of cracks or crazing, was another positive aspect. The only drawback identified was a hairline crack, which unfortunately detracted slightly from the value. Despite this, the estimated auction value of the piece is
between $3,000 and $4,000.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my gosh.
And were it not for the tight hairline, I would have said $4,000 to $6,000.
A pyrographic blanket closet, a unique piece of folk art, was brought in by the guest. It was created using Pyrography, a technique of burning designs onto wood with a heated metal tip. The wooden cabinet itself is likely Western red cedar, dating back to the late 1800s to early 1900s based on the hardware and construction style. However, the stunning Art Nouveau design on the Pyrography artwork itself pointed to a creation date of around 1910 to 1915. The most captivating aspect of the artwork was the imagery: 10 panels featuring 7 winged babies, possibly representing deceased children, some with faint names inscribed on their foreheads. It was wondered if these were the artist's own children and if the artwork served as a personal story. The piece also held a sense of mystery. 2 of the children's figures had their outlines burned, but details like hair and eyebrows only penciled in, unfinished. This raises the speculation that the artist might have passed away before completing the work. The guest had purchased the piece for $300 in 1987 and never had it appraised. Due to the artwork's uniqueness and artistry, its auction value is
To $12,000.
but retail could go as high as
15 to 20,000.
That's great.
Oh my gosh. I'm very surprised.
The guest brought in an ethereal necklace given to her grandmother by the Emperor of China at the birth of her father. It is a 19th century jadeite, finely clothed with brilliant green that is translucent. The necklace features a nice coral bead, a lovely sequence, and Chinese characters made by Sushi. Sushi was the first member of the Emperor family ever to do a public relations campaign with the West. When there was a fallout with the Europeans, her quality pieces for the women were their surviving grace. This jade necklace is of high quality, but not the best jade, and will be estimated at auction for
$30,000 to $50,000.
Oh my gosh. I'm very surprised.
The guest's mother bought a Georgian or Chippendale mahogany architect's table 25 to 30 years ago in New York, using it to prop up books. The appraiser demonstrated its features, including a lifting surface for oversized books or drawings, a pull-out and lift-up drawing or writing surface, and a storage compartment. It also has a candle slide and an inkwell. Despite some well-done restorations, such as replaced brass and a spliced edge, the table was valued at
$5,000 to $6,000 range. Guess I ought to get it insured.
a glance at this masterpiece of painting, and it could become your favorite. This item is an oil painting on canvas, and it is unframed. It beautifully depicts a cavalryman from the Napoleonic Wars in France. As ravishing as this painting is, however, it is a copy of an original done by Theodore Géricault. The painting is finished well, which suggests it is copied by another master painter.
Now, I think your painting could be as new as 1970, 1980. It's really done with pretty meticulous detail.
It's likely the painting was done as a sort of homage to Theodore, and it would be a great collection for many who love antique paintings or their copies. This painting, with all its allure, would fetch an auction price of
maybe $100, maybe a couple $100.